In the Eastern Conference side of the bracket there, it was our first port of call this hour. Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat, who were in the play-in tournament, not playoff, play-in tournament to get to the playoffs. And so Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat playing the afternoon early game, Midtown Manhattan at the Mecca, a date with the Knickerbockers. And if you were watching this game, you know what happened. If not, if you missed it, if you had stuff going on, or maybe you like to sleep all day on Sunday, don't worry, we watched, so you would not have to. And Jimmy Butler, he didn't have 50 points, he didn't have 40 points, he didn't have 35 points, he didn't have 30. But he finished with 25 points, 11 rebounds, and a bum ankle. He was actually twisted his ankle. He rolled his ankle near the end of the game. Gabe Vincent added 20. And Miami rallying back in the second half, and they beat New York 108-101 in game one. So the Heat, they get the jump, best of 7. So they got to win 3 more games in advance, but they get the game 1 win in the Eastern Conference second round. And after the game, the New York Knicks guard Josh Hart, the man that famously was eating a chicken wing during the previous round and got condemned by his teammate Jalen Brunson. So Josh Hart, the New York Knicks guard, did not have a great game. That is being politically correct. He sucked at a time you cannot suck, Josh Hart. But he was asked whether or not the Knickerbockers wasted an opportunity. Let's go to the audio tape.
I don't think anyone thought this game was going to be, or the series, was just going to be, won or lost in the first game. I don't think anyone thinks that. It was a tough team. Obviously, frustrated that we didn't shoot the ball well, and obviously, like we said, got out to that lead, and we didn't make shots. But like I said, we're going to continue to take and make the right shots, and that's what we're going to do. So I don't think there's an opportunity that we let slip away. You know what I mean? There's going to be a tough physical series, and every game's different.
All right, so he's completely wrong on this. The question is, did the Knicks let an opportunity slip away? And I'm nodding my head. Yes, they absolutely did. The game was right there. They did not have Julius Randle in the lineup. The game was right there for the taking, and they were unable to snatch it. They were unable to grab it, and that is on them. So I've got Miley Cyrus, embargo, and orthodoxy, and we will combine all of these things together, and we are going to make a cold sandwich that is about the only thing you can get in. People talk about Manhattan being the city that never sleeps, New York City. That's bull crap. Most places close at regular hours, but you can get a sandwich at a bodega at any time you want. So, number one. There we go. All right, number one. So, Josh Hart can dance and yap up and down and all around. All right, he can do that all he wants. The Knickerbockers absolutely blew it. They blew it. Miami was right there for the taking in game number 1 at home, and Jimmy Butler was hobbling around. And the end of the game, and you didn't win it. The Knicks, the New York Knicks, home cooking. The place was electric. The garden was rocking. Everyone was ready to go there. The atmosphere, all the Wall Street big shots were out. They had their tickets front row. They were going gaga. And the tone, well, all these slobbering Wall Street people, and the tone you set, the Heat did the same thing. Miami did the same thing that they did against Milwaukee. Same style of play as in the play-in tournament. They grinded out games to get the win. And game 1, the Knicks led by as many as 12 in the first half. They had a 9-point lead early in the second half, up by 9. Now, there's still a lot of time left in the game, 11 minutes or so to go in the third quarter. But Miami methodically chipping away brick by brick. And when I say brick by brick, that's from the New York Knicks offense. Brick by brick. As Miami able to take advantage there, it was a Miley Cyrus tune for Miami. Wrecking ball was what it was there. A demolition work. Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry, who's older than dirt by NBA standards, those three guys outperformed Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson, and R.J. Barrett in the second half of that game, dismantling, razing, and destroying, if you will, and wrecking the Knicks in their own building. As the big three for New York on this night were not there, the big three for Miami were. The Knicks shot 36.6% over the final 23 minutes of the game. The Heat almost 50%, and they only turned the ball over 3 times. That's it, 3 times in that stretch, as New York was within striking distance. They were down just 3. If you look at the game clock, there were 5:05 left. They were down by 3 when Jimmy Butler hurt his right ankle. Snap, crackle, pop. And he's limping around there. He's at the foul line. He's limping. But the Knicks managed, after that point, the Knicks managed just 2 points over the next 4 minutes and 2 seconds of the game. They blew any opportunity to come from behind. So as William Shatner said to me back in the day, checkmate. Checkmate for the Knickerbockers in that one. And see you later. Now, page 2 here. Page 2, when you talk about the Knicks and the Miami Heat, true or false, the Knicks' lack of any sustainable perimeter game is a major handicap. So the answer on that is absolute truth. And you don't have to be some kind of highfalutin NBA insider to know that the modern NBA, whether we like it or not, is a pop-a-shot contest. It's shoot as many three-pointers as you can. It's the most maddening thing. You'll be on a 3-on-1 fast break, and what do most NBA teams do on a 3-on-1 fast break? Do they try to get a hammer dunk or a layup? No! They dribble, and pass it back out for a three-point shot. What are you doing? But that, in this regard, this is the kryptonite for the Knicks. It's the kryptonite for this. New York attempted 34 three-point shots. They made 7 of them. 7 of 34 from three-point range for the Knicks. After entering the second round of the playoffs here, the worst three-point shooting team in the playoffs, making less than 28.5% of their three-point shots. And so New York, what they need to contact the Navy SEALs here because they need a sniper. They don't have a sniper. And bring back Trent Tucker from the old days, from downtown, to knock down some three-point shots here. Someone who can consistently knock down the three-point shot. Jalen Brunson, who I think, a cousin of mine who's a huge Knicks fan, but Jalen Brunson, who we know he's the top player on the Knicks in these playoffs, but Jalen Brunson took 7 three-point shots, and he made as many three-point shots as you made and I made. He was 0 for 7. It's so bad. How bad is it? It's so bad that Tom Thibodeau should put an embargo on the three-point shot. It's like, unless you are completely wide open, and the Knicks were missing completely wide open shots, but unless you're completely wide open and you methodically hold your feet and get your position, you should not shoot the three-point shot, right? Because it's clankety, clank, clank. The money ball is no money. No money, no money, no money. So you got to shake it up a little bit here and see if you can win. If it's possible to win the old-fashioned way. It's like baseball teams that all they try to do is hit home runs. Well, the Knicks are such an incompetent team from outside. At this point, you're at a huge disadvantage. So what are you doing? Your secret sauce should be attempting to hit baskets that you can actually make with the three-point shot. When you're shooting 28.2%, it's not quite working out. All right, final point. So what is the takeaway here from Jimmy Butler staying in the game after twisting his ankle with about 5 minutes to go for the Miami Heat? So I look at that and I'm jealous. I'm jealous of the Miami Heat fans, all 7 of them. I'm jealous of the Miami Heat fans. I'll tell you why. Because what Jimmy Butler did is he poked the bear, the orthodoxy in the NBA. He's making other players look bad, the other softies in the NBA. He continues to do it. I'm talking about you, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George. They've got a boo-boo. They can't play. They cannot play. Players who milk injuries, Julius Randle, who I don't think is that kind of player, but he didn't play with an ankle injury. He sat this one out for the New Yorkers. He was not there, left ankle sprain. So what does Jimmy Butler do? He goes out there, final 5 minutes, and they rubbed some theoretical dirt on it. He kept going, and Butler, going old school there, he played the final 5:05 of the game as a decoy. He was a decoy. That's the way you do it. You're a decoy. And if only these other idiots in the NBA would copy the lead of Jimmy Butler, the business of basketball would be much better. And he proved it yet again. And so there you go. Game 2 is set for Tuesday at MSG. And after that, there's a 4-day gap. So they play May 2nd, then a 4-day gap. Game 3 back in South Beach. Jimmy Buckets. Will he play in game number 2? Maybe. He's going to get around-the-clock therapy, breathless minute-by-minute coverage of the gimpy ankle of Jimmy Butler. And typically it takes a minimum of 2 weeks to recover from this kind of an injury. So we'll see what happens there. But Miami obviously doesn't have that kind of time here. And the Heat, they're going to spare no expense. Every measure, the rest, where you rest. We all hurt our ankle at some point. You rest, elevation, ice, baby, and compression. Those kind of things are what you're supposed to do. And then if that doesn't work, you get out one of those giant cartoon needles filled with all kinds of painkillers and pop that painkiller right there and then put some tape on it, get back out there and play.